I'm absolutely loving exploring these retro handhelds and reliving my old school gaming memories. And today we're looking at something a little bit intriguing. This is the Diium D50 Plus. Now, Diium might not be the first name that pops into your head like a Anbernic or a Powkiddy, but this little device is packing some great specs that definitely caught my eye. So why don't we unbox this thing, see what you get in the box, and give it a road test and see whether it can rekindle those retro gaming days. Okay, so this is the D Plus model. The D Plus model is multi-touch, 1280 by 720, it says there. It's a metal body, wireless 2.4 gigahertz, HDMI output, 10 plus simulator, so game simulator, 2 memory cards? 1280 by 720 pixels, MP3, MP4 player, and a quad core. And a quick mention on the aesthetics of the box. I like this slope design here. Anyway, back to the box. 2 wipes, because you get a screen protector, nice little cloth. This is from 2 Retro where I got this. There'll be a link down in the description below. They always provide a nice little cloth to wipe it with. But there we are, this 2 wipes here as well. Screen protector there. And then here is the device. Oh, it feels weighty. Gosh, so that feels like it's a proper metal body. Little warning about the power. So we need to charge it for a few hours. Wait for it to be fully charged. I love the padding on these things that sort of protect the joysticks. And there we go. Wow. That feels, I have to say, wow, I'm loving this design here. You see that little pattern on there? That's really nice. Liking that pattern there. And it's that XYBA layout, or ABXY, depending how you want to say it, if you want to be pedantic. Little tiny joysticks, D-pad there. Start, select start and a menu button. This feels solid. It is a metal, it feels like a metal body. I don't know, is it metal on the back as well? It feels, certainly all this framework here, all this framework around here feels metal. It feels solid. You're not going to break this. That's impressive for the price anyway. It feels certainly very solid. And then on the underside, as you'll see, USB-C slot there, DC OTG, USB-C, and then you've got your 2 cards here, memory slots there, and a jack for your headphone. And then on this side, got HDMI output, minus plus volume rockers, on-off button. Then you've got your shoulder buttons, R1, R2 of course, and same on this side naturally. I like the grill bits here, presumably the speakers sections are there. Then on the back, rubber bit, plasticky rubber bit there. Again, that may be to let some air in and out, I don't know, but it's certainly the same here. Maybe ventilation for the, the air circulation. But overall, that's the actual device, looking very nice. It's so solid, it's like weighty. And then instruction manual, USB-A to USB-C charger. That is basically what you get in the box. I've given it a quick wipe down, but what I do notice here is it's got a screen protector on it, just for packaging. So if I just peel that off, there we go. Just getting the light there. And then you put your actual screen protector on this bit here. But very nice. I'm liking that, especially the weight. It'll be interesting to see what that feels like after playing it for a while. Okay, so I charged it. It was at 65%, but I charged it anyway. Let's turn it on. Diium. The screen seems, nice and bright there. Oh, it's 1280 by 720, whatever that is meant to mean. But I like the green neon here. You've got this sort of green LED kind of colours around the side. That's kind of nice touch. As I said, it feels great in the hands. There we are. When you turn it on, we've already got some classic names here, as you see. Let's just spin through them here. It's got some Android games. That's interesting. Super Famicom, PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 portable games, a NES systems, a Nintendo, Neo Geo, N64 games, which is often my favourite, Sega games, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, some Capcom games there. Okay, and then across the top you've got favorites, recent. Somebody's been playing 1944 Loopmaster. Games, and then your various settings. So you've got your brightness. Actually, so look, the brightness was only on 1. So I go up there. I just go back to games. Yeah, you can see the brightness. I'm going to just put it up a little bit, but the brightness looks great. Then the LED brightness. So you can set the brightness of the LEDs there. I keep slipping down there on that D-pad. Anyway, I like my LEDs bright. Then you've got the button test and a factory reset. They're the main settings there. So not a ton of settings. Let's go back to the games. Let's just check out the Android games quickly. Not a lot here. You've got the calendar, clock, Diium, file explorer, gallery. And you can see it's got a little sounds there as well on the as you scroll through. Having a quick look at the N64 games. Let's see if there's anything that we know. Batman Beyond, Automobili, Lamborghini, Army Men, that's a good one. All-Star Tennis, Wave Race, which I kind of hate as a game. Pilot Wings. Or Buster Move. So a quick Buster Move 99 Arcade Edition. Let's have a quick look at Buster Move Arcade Edition. Oh, look at that. And the way it fits into the screen as well. Press start. Okay, let's see if I can remember what to do in this. Oh, I see. So the controls here are a bit funny because they're actually on the B button. It's not what I wanted. I have to get used to the buttons. The thing with these retro arcade machines is you have to kind of relearn the controls for whatever game because sometimes they're in sort of funny places. Let's go back to the menu. Oh look, Doom 64. Star Fox 64. Wow. Bomberman Hero. Killer Instinct. Trump Collection. Interesting. Lego Racers. Now, this is a particular favourite. Let's launch this. See if I can do this. I worked for Lego Media when we released Lego Racers. This is the company I used to work for. This was a great, I mean, you know, sort of kart racing game. Very much in the spirit of Mario Kart, but a really good one. Let's just do a circuit race. Right, let's see. Which is what's controlling it. Yeah, okay. There we go. Just trying to go for that brick then. Yeah, I want a brick. I missed it. But there you go. Just a rough idea of what it looks like. I mean, great to play. I just wish I knew how the controls were mapped for each game. But once you've understood that bit, it's very good. As I say, overall, it feels like a nice, compact, solid, and that's the key thing here, solid gaming machine. Yeah, I won't give up. Don't rub it in. Okay, so you can also add a controller and change some of the settings in the Android bit here. And in Android bit, it's the touch screen comes into play as well here. So you can see the display. You can change the display brightness in the Android app part as well. And again, as I said, it's touch screen. It's also, as you notice, it's got adaptive brightness. You can have that off and on. You'll see that there. But you could connect a Bluetooth controller here. If you go to connected devices, Bluetooth, and I've already paired mine. So straightforward pairing as you would with any Android. You can see the Stadia controller is now connected. Don't judge. Yes, I was a massive fan of Stadia, and it's a lovely controller. I have no problems with using the Android controller. And as you can see, I can control the device now, the D50 Plus, with my controller. So yeah, let's check out a bit of Zelda. I love this game so much. But as you can see here now, I'm controlling Zelda, or Link, to be precise, with the Stadia controller, which is a really cool feature because it means that you can plug this in to a TV or monitor and you've basically got, a gaming device. So first things first, what makes this D50 Plus stand out in this crowded retro handheld market? For example, I've, tested this, got that kind of DS vibe going to it, and then this, the sort of your Game Boy Advance vibe going to it. So what makes this one stand out? I'd say two things jump out immediately from the spec sheet, and also just its general feel. I mean, the build quality on this thing is really, really cool. It's rocking an aluminium alloy body, and it's available in blue, gold, and I think red. I've got this blue one, and I absolutely love it. Let's see if I can get this. I just love the look of it, and the overall design aesthetic. Look, I get it with these things, they're going for the retro gaming look, the actual, in terms of the device itself, I get that. The same one with this one as well. I get it. They're going for that kind of retro vibe. What I like about the D50 Plus is there's something very modern about it. It feels like one of those, I'm not saying a Steam Deck, but it's got that kind of slightly more modern aesthetic. And yet, just like those other retro handhelds, it's packed full of retro games from all the consoles we love and know. We know from devices like the Anbernic RK3566 that metal builds just feel premium, and solid. And this feels solid. I mean, it's weighty, especially compared to this. This just feels like a feather. This is a weight. This feels like a brick. And that's a good thing. It feels you've got like a nice, decent weight in your hand. There's no flex or bend. It's a solid, as I say, it's metal. It's really, really it just feels quality. There's none of that kind of creaky plastic here. So for me, a big plus point for this is that initial feel. Secondly, the screen. Okay, so this is a 5-inch display, which is, a decent size, and is boasting a 1280 by 720 resolution. And it seems really bright and really sharp. Now, I have seen some specs saying, it's 1920 by 1080p, but on the box, it definitely says 1280 by 720p. But just on the website, for instance, it's got 920 by 1080p. So I'm not sure entirely. I'm fairly confident we're talking 1280 by 720, but it's pretty sharp on this screen. The picture quality, it's an IPS panel. The picture quality is pretty sharp, bright and clear. And where you can really take advantage of this is right at the back here, you've got this mini HDMI output. And that, of course, is going to allow you to plug it into your TV or a monitor and play those retro games on a larger screen. I mean, imagine reliving your Ocarina of Time days or Ridge Racer or something like that, which I have done, and it's great. And here, all the games just compacted into this little device here. It's a really, really cool concept. Sure, some of the games are going to look really weird, blowing up on a large screen. And obviously not all games are in this sort of 16 by 9 format, especially retro games. But there's no denying that the picture quality is sharp, it's bright and clear. So yeah, I'm talking potentially fairly reasonable pixel density for those sort of classic games, especially if they've upscaled them nicely. It's certainly a lot better than some retro handhelds that I've seen, which are 640 by 480. In terms of under the hood, we've got a familiar rock chip RK3566 quad processor. It's clocked at 1.8 gigahertz, and that's all paired with the Mali G52 GPU. That's a very common chip in these handhelds, around $80 to $120. This was about 86 quid in that handheld space. And here it's paired with 2 gigabytes of LPDDR4 RAM and 32 gigabytes of internal eMMC storage. Pretty standard stuff, but totally decent and more than efficient for what it needs to do. And yeah, if you are into retro gaming and you are a storage hoarder, then rejoice, because it's got 2 TF card slots support at the back, up to 256 gigs extra you can put there. I've got the 64 gig version, and yeah, it's absolutely crammed with classic games. To be honest, I'm loving the choice and range of games you get. And yeah, look, there's a lot of repetition across the various old cool consoles. You know, so the amount of time I see Street Fighter repeated and stuff across different consoles. But each one is often a slightly different version one for that particular console. And you may have grown up playing Street Fighter in the arcade, or you might have grown up playing Street Fighter on another device. So the point is, the nostalgia is there. There's plenty of games, a whole shed load to choose from. There's bound to be a few that's going to get your nostalgia tingling. I mean, Lego Racers, Ocarina of Time, 1941, 1944, Ridge Racer, Rayman, Castlevania, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Sonic, Streets of Rage, Buster Move. I mean, those are just some of my favourites. The point is, the list goes on. Of course, the big question is, how do those games actually perform? Well, as I said, this is based on the RK3566 chip, so you probably have a good idea if you've used other handheld consoles with that chip in it. I mean, the chip nails anything that's up to like a 32-bit era, your NES, your SNES, your Mega Drive, GBA, your Neo Geo, your Capcom game, MAME games. For those, you can expect smooth sailing. Where it gets really interesting, though, and where your mileage may vary, if I'm going to be brutally honest about this, is when you start maybe getting to PSP. I mean, some people I've seen have said they've had issues with N64 Dreamcast games, but I've not had any issues up to N64. But I did have a couple of issues playing some of the PSP games. There was a bit of stuttering. But other than that, the RK3566 chip handles nearly all of the N64 and Dreamcast titles surprisingly well, especially under a Linux-based custom firmware. As I said, PlayStation Portable is a bit more hit and miss on this. Some games run great, especially simpler 2D titles or ones that benefit from the Vulkan API, which works better under Android. While the heavier 3D games, yeah, I did have a bit of stuttering on some of those. But if you're into proper retro gaming, then you can expect solid performance for all your classics. Even though I did find on some PSP games, they didn't quite work as well. The controls didn't quite work. Plug this in, as I said, into your big screen, connect a controller to this, and there you've got your retro console gaming with a modern controller on your modern TV. What's not to like? I mean, one of the coolest features here is the dual operating system support. You get Android 11 and an open source Linux version. Now, the Android version, you can change some of the settings. It's Android 11, as I said, and that's all touchscreen as well. And it's really easy to navigate. And that's how I connected the Bluetooth controller via the Android operating system on here. But the fact that you've got both, if you're not an Android 11 fan and you're more a Linux person and you're into kind of retro gaming and emulators and all of that, then hey, knock yourself out. You're going to have a fantastic time. I mean, personally, as I say, I prefer the more slick interface and broader app compatibility that you get with Android. Like maybe some of the better PSP emulators work on the Android better, but whatever you prefer, go for it. And then Wi-Fi, you've got 2.4 gigahertz here. I have seen some specs that say 5 gigahertz, but again, on the box, it just says 2.4 gigahertz. I love some of the kind of erroneous spelling as well. I saw on the back for the speakers here, which, you know, pretty good, are described as horn output. Yeah, the horn. These bits here, the grills here where the speakers come out, the horn. But talking of speakers, you can plug in your headphone jack via the 3.5mm socket on the back here as well. And as I said, you can hook this bad boy up to your TV and you're getting your big screen retro action. Are you going to get super sharp images on your large screen? No, not really, but these are retro games, so it's fine. It's, you know, what do you expect? And of course, remember, this is a 16:9 aspect ratio, and most retro games are 4:3, but you know, all of the games look pretty good on this, even with black bars on the side. And I prefer that kind of authenticity of the kind of 4:3 screen. But when it comes to the PSP games, which are natively 16:9, then great. That looks really great. So how does the D50 Plus stack up against the competition? Well, as I said, it cost me about £86, so it's between $80 and $120. Probably it's in the same bracket alongside the Powkiddy X55 or the RGB30 and the slightly pricier Anbernic RG353M. I mean, this might be a good alternative. For me, its main advantages on paper are that it's a premium aluminium build. It's the build that really sells me. This is the form factor. I mean, my arm is already aching, actually, to be honest, holding it like this to the camera. But the form factor is something I prefer. Whilst I find these sort of retro design machines, especially this one, pretty cool, you know, and I like the concept and I like the idea of these, I love the sort of the modern feel of this. It makes playing games, for me, just slightly more ergonomic. So yeah, I absolutely love the build. There are a few retro games here that are missing, but maybe I can find the emulators on the various forums for retro gaming handhelds and stuff like that. And you don't get Google Play services sort of built onto this and stuff like that, but I'm still exploring how I can kind of upload some sort of more Android apps on here and stuff like that. For me, what sells this is the fact that I can plug it into the big TV. I can connect a controller by Bluetooth. It's a solid build. It feels solid. I can just throw this in a bag. I don't think it's going to get damaged. Although one thing, it does come, as I say, with a screen protector. And my recommendations is get that on there. Even if you do a really terrible job of applying the screen protector like I did, oh my God. I did notice whilst I didn't have it on, there's really minor scratches on the IPS panel. And that's from me, you know, like it comes with a cloth to wipe it. But of course, sometimes you just want to wipe it on your shirt, you know, we see a sort of thumbprint. Don't, because, no, I've got marks on there. Oh no. Don't do that until you put the screen protector on. Honestly, it makes a big difference. But there you go, the Diium D50 Plus. I've really enjoyed using this. There's such a variety of consoles and retro gaming experiences you can have on it. I'm looking forward to exploring more retro gaming handhelds, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss out when I upload videos all about retro handheld systems like this. And if you've liked this video, then do me the great honor, please hit the likes because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content just like this. And if you're new to my channel, then do me the other great honor, which would be to hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with videos just like this. Talking of videos just like this, why don't you check out the videos right here? These ones here. I think you'll love them. Thanks for watching.